Hello and welcome to this tutorial for the game Hadrian's Wall. What you do is very easy. What you do it for will take a bit of time to explain. So let's get right to it. This is how you play the game. You are going to play for 6 rounds and then the game is over. Each player counts up their score here on the bottom of your own sheet. Whoever has the highest score wins the game. You get all your points at the end of the game, but during the game you can easily keep track of what that's going to be. But again, there are 6 rounds and then it ends. If you have the highest score, you are the winner. First, I'll explain what a round is. Each round is 3 steps. Step 1. Every player gets income. Step 2. Every player spends that income by paying things back to the supply and checking off boxes on their own sheet. Step 3. The wall gets attacked. It's one attack that counts for all the players. And depending on how well or badly you defended the wall, you get a bonus or a penalty. That's it. Get income, spend income, and the wall gets attacked. So, let's get back to step number 1, getting income. In this game, all players do everything at the same time. You all get new income together. You all spend that income together in your own time on your own sheet. And you are all under attack at the same time. Income comes first. Start by flipping over the top card from this deck, the Fate cards. You can ignore everything else it says on it. Only look at the resources on the bottom. This card says that every player can take this. You don't have to divide it. Player 1 gets this whole batch, player 2 gets all of it, and so on. This card can go face up on the discard pile. If you want, you can place all your income on your own board. But you get more income. Take the top 2 cards from your own deck, the cards that you have on your left in the color that you chose during the setup. I have these yellow ones. Look at both of the cards. You can place one of these cards under here, under your own board. That means you will get these bonus points at the end of the game. The text is written on the top half. For example, this one says this. The card that you don't put under your board will go face up on your right. You will get the income that is on the card. It's not much, but still a little bit more. I choose to put this card up here. We're in round number 2, so I slide it under the number 2. The other card shows this, so I take this extra income. Take it from the supply and put it on your own board. The card goes faced up on your right side on top of the one from the previous round. You're not done yet. You've got more income. Look at your left sheet. In the middle, it shows what extra income you get at the start of each round. This resource track says I get to take 1 brick for each circle that's filled up. Right now, it's just this one, so I get to take 1 brick from the supply. Underneath that, you can see what else you get. Maybe some extra yellow people, or blue people, or even some traits. It's up to you. If you spend resources, you can fill in all these boxes. From then on, you get this extra income at the start of each round. Let me quickly recap. You get income from the Fate card in the middle. You get income from one of the two cards that you chose to place on your right. And you get income from what it says on your own left sheet in the middle. Moving on to step 2, spending all that income. Let me start with the easy ones. The main rule is that the price for something is always on the left side of the space you have to fill in with your pen. There are many spaces that have something inside them. As soon as you pay and fill in that box or circle, it means you get that. It's a bonus that you can take immediately. For example, this space has a yellow person in it. That means when I've paid the price to fill in this box, I use my pen to fill it up and I can immediately take a yellow person from the supply. I can use it this round. I would even say you have to, because as soon as this part of the game is over, you have to return everything you didn't use back to the supply. You can't keep resources that you didn't use. And of course, whenever you tick off anything, you always go from left to right or from top to bottom. So, let's go for some easy ones. This top row. Every time you pay one purple person, you can fill in one of these spaces in this row. If there's something in that space, it's an instant bonus. Next row, the wall guard. Here you can see two things you have to pay, but it has a slash icon in between them. That means you have to pay either this or the other. You can pay with a sword or discarding a black person. When you pay, you fill in one of these spaces with your pen, going from left to right. You may have already noticed that a sword isn't a resource. So where do you get a sword that you can spend to fill in a box here? If you go down a little bit and to the right, you can see this little track, Training Grounds. This says you have to pay one blue person and then you get a sword. You can immediately spend that sword by filling in a space on the wall guard track. You can also see it says you may only train once per year. That means once per round. To keep track of that, you fill in this space that shows a hashtag icon. Just write down the number of the round you are in at that moment. For example, in this tutorial we're in round number 2, so then I would write the number 2 on this hashtag to remind myself I've already used this track in this round. Spending these resources can take up a lot of time, so you do need this. Moving on, let's go back to the wall guard for a moment. As you can see inside the spaces, it sometimes shows a blue helmet or a red shield. The blue helmet is easy. That's one of the tracks on the bottom of your left sheet. Every time you cross out one of these spaces, you just cross out a space on the blue helmet track as well. But these red shields are important. You can find this red shield all the way at the top of your left sheet. This is your defense. You may remember that at the end of each round you are going to be attacked. These 3 tracks are your defense. The left side, the center, and the right side. Every time you cross out one of these shields, you can cross out one of these spaces up here. It's up to you whether you choose left or center or right. Fill in just one box at a time. You don't have to do only the left side first. The next section on your sheet, the fort with the wall and the kippy. As you can see, it has links. That means you can't fill in a space for the wall or the kippy until you have first filled in the space of the fort that it's connected to. The price to fill in one space for the fort is either a blue person or a black person. Just one of those, and then you can cross this out. After that, you can pay 1 brick to fill in a space for the wall, or 1 brick to fill in 1 kippy. If there's something inside that space, that's your instant bonus. Also look at these orange banners at the bottom of the fort. Those are important. There are some spaces that you aren't allowed to use until you have a certain amount of orange banners. For example, the fort itself. You have this whole left section, but also this middle section and the right section. It says you can't start filling in spaces of the middle section until you have at least 1 orange banner, plus you have paid a purple person and a blue person and 1 brick. Then you can fill in this circle, and now you are allowed to fill in spaces of the middle fort. Of course, the whole left side has to be completely full because you can't go from left to right. Next up, extra resources. You may remember these spaces from the income part. Every time you get a hammer, you can immediately spend it here to fill in one of these circles. Your sheet says that at the start of each round, you can take as many bricks from the supply as you have filled in circles here. Same goes for these 3 things underneath it: hotel, workshop, and road. You first need to have a number of orange banners. Then you can pay the price to fill in the space, and from next round on you can always take extra things during the income phase of the game. If you see a plus sign on your sheet, that means you can fill in the other space next to it as soon as you fill in the space in front of it. You get both. The forum might be less clear because you can see a person without color. This means that you decide which color person you want to pay. The forum says you can pay 2 people and get 1 person back. For example, you can pay a yellow person and a blue person to take 1 purple person from the supply. You also see it has a hashtag, and that's because you're only allowed to do this exchange once per round. Then, landmarks. As soon as you have at least 15 filled in spaces on one of these tracks under it, you can pay a blue person and 2 bricks to build a landmark. That's all. You can see the tracks under the landmarks. You have renown, piety, valor, and discipline. You can fill in one of these spaces every time you fill in another space that shows one of these icons. At the end of the game, you get 1 point per space that's filled in. On to the right sheet, but I'm going to keep this one short. The people are easy, but everything on the right side is more complicated. You'll have to look those up in the rulebook, otherwise this video would become too long. I think you already have a good impression of how this game is played. For all the people here on the left side, you have to pay either 1 yellow person to fill in one of the spaces, or maybe you get one of the icons as a bonus somewhere to fill in 1 space. That's it. It's the same for every person. As you can see, they also have a lot of spaces with a bonus in it. But they also have their own banners. You need to fill in a number of spaces before you can do the action that's on the right side of them. How all those actions work you can look up in the rulebook. Since you already have a good impression, it will be easier to understand when you read it. So you keep going with this until you and every other player have spent all the resources. Every player does this at the same time. For this moment in the game, you'll be in your own bubble for a bit. You can tell when everyone is done because no one will have any more resources. Even if you had some left, you have to put them back in the supply. Now comes step 3 of each round. You're going to be attacked. One player flips over a few cards. Each card will show you which side is attacked. If you have enough defense, you get a prize. If you let at least one through, you also get a penalty. So, how many cards do you flip over for the attack? Look at your own board. For this example, we're in round 2. You can see a number in green, a number in yellow, and a number in red. Green is easy, yellow is medium, and red is hard. At the start of each game, you have to decide at which level you're going to play. For the rest of the game, you then only look at that color. If it's your first game, go for level easy, the green one. The green space shows this number, so I flip over that many cards. Here at the top you can see what the attack is. Now look at your own defense. Did you let every attack through? Then you have to take that many penalties. Circle each space on the bottom of your left sheet. Here, don't fill in the space, only circle it. This is minus points at the end of the game, but there is a way to get rid of them. All of that is on your right sheet that I skipped. Did you defend each attack? Then look at your own board. You have the green and yellow and red to show you how many cards to flip over, but you also have this number in gray that shows you how many spaces you can fill in for valor. One of your tracks is called valor, and you can fill in spaces there when you've defended an attack. But did you defend some of the attack but let some of it through? Then you look at the number in gray again. Let's say it's a 2. So you would get 2 valor, but you let one attack through. You couldn't defend one of the attacks. Then you take off 1 point. So you get to fill in 1 space for valor, and you take 1 penalty by circling the space at the bottom. Done! That is the end of the round. Get income, spend income, and deal with the attack. Do this for 6 rounds and then you're done. Everything for scoring points is at the bottom of your left sheet. You count up all the points for these tracks. You count up all the bonus points for the path cards. Those are those cards that you choose to slide under your board at the start of each round. And finally, you might get minus points for how many penalties you have for not defending attacks. Calculate your own total score and write it down. This is your score for the game. The highest score wins. So, you still have some reading to do for how most of what's on the right sheet works, but I hope you have a good sense of how Hadrian's Wall is played. I think it's a great game, and with 400 sheets of paper in the box, you can play it many times. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Feel free to leave a comment, and see you for the next one.